Hi everyone, welcome back to TechnoCoders. In this session, we'll be learning about how to create users in Unix, how to create groups in Unix, and how you can assign one particular user to that particular group, and how we can control the permission. So permission we'll be discussing in next session, but in this session, we'll focusing on how to create users and groups. So first, when you run ls-lrt command, you can see here the first column represent the permissions that we're going to talk in our next session. Second column is kind of memory blocks taken by the directory or the file, right? File of the directory. The third one is who is the owner of the file. So example, this search file.dat. So TechnoCoders is owner of this file. So it means TechnoCoders have created this file in the first place. The fourth column is the group of the owner, right? What group it belongs to. That particular owner belongs to user underscore group 1. And we're going to learn how to create groups and how to assign user to particular groups. Okay. Then fifth column is size of the file in bytes. And then we have a timestamp when the file got created, and this is the file or directory. That we already discussed in our last session. So I will put a link in my description. You can go and watch ls minutes. So let's start. In this session, we'll be mainly learning about how to create users. Okay. So example, where you can find the user first. So always you need to go to home directory. Okay, you can go shortcut also cd tilde operator, that also will take you to home directory. Okay? Now I'm in home directory. Because Unix is multitasking operating system, right? And multiple user will be logging the same time and working. So example, I logged in as a TechnoCoders, right? I have two more users, user 2 and 3. So suppose you have a requirement to create a more user, and so that user can work independently without modifying your file, or they can create their own file in their folder and they can test it out. Let's say that you have a requirement. So first, how to create a user. So creating user, you need to use useradd command. Useradd. This is a useradd command. Again, this command need to be run from sudo user. Sudo means that person should have super user power. Like it can have a permission to override some permission. We will see that how, if you don't use sudo, how it's gonna behave. But just for now, just learn that useradd command is to add a user. Okay, and then -m. -m if you want to create that user into this home directory. If you don't use -m, it will create user, but you will not find in this current directory. Okay, it will create user for sure. And now user name you need to give. Let's say that I'm creating a new user called as test user 1. Okay, let's see what happens if I enter. See, permission denied, cannot log etc, try again. The reason is because I am not running this command using a sudo user, so it is not allowing me to add a particular user. Okay, and add particular user password into etc directory means. So what I will do, I will use sudo command. Okay, sudo, then again command user add -m test user underscore 1. Let's see what happens now. See, is asking password. See, whenever you use sudo command, if you are logging first time, it will ask the password, and that password will remain for some time, I think 5 minutes or 10, depend upon the configuration. Again, if suppose after 5-10 minutes, it will again ask you password if you are running this kind of sudo command. So no worries. So for now, I'm just giving my password here. Yeah, okay, let's see what happens now. See here, test user got created, so I have a new user now. Now another concept is there is user ID. Suppose somebody asks you how to find the user ID of that particular user, right? So you can always use the command id -u and give the username. See, this is just for tracking purpose. Somebody asks you what is a user ID you created, for that information we can use this command. So my user ID is 1272. Now let's say that you have a requirement to create one user and assign some predefined user ID to that particular user. Sudo useradd -u. Now it got created. User 3. See, sometime what happens, right? It depends upon sudo. Sometime it will not ask you if you are already given, you already have the permission. So example here, I was trying to create in the home directory, right, that user. So definitely it need some permission, right? So without sudo, this command will not work. So this is how we'll create the user and assign particular user ID to. Now let's say that I want to see the user ID, right? So again, then ID -u test user underscore 3. See here 2000, right? It is not randomly generated. This ID was given by me. This is how you create the users in Unix. Okay, pretty simple. Now let's say that you created user, right? But when I created my user, I was logged in as technocoder and then I use sudo command, right? Let's see that even though I can go into this directory or not. Let's say test user 1. See, permission denied, right? Why it permission denied? Because if you notice carefully here, the permission, right? So the owner of this, like who is the owner of this particular directory? Test user 1. But I logged in as technocoder, so I'm not a owner, right? So owner have read, write and execute. One thing is clear, right? Then group. Again, group is same, test user 1. Group have permission of read, not able to write and execute. And all others will have no permission. So it means me, because a technocoder is other user, right? It's not part of any group, and so I don't have any permission. But the good thing is I have a sudo user, so it means I can assign the permission. So don't worry about these permission. These I will be covering in my next session. For now, you just focus on how I'm creating this group, how I'm creating these users. Okay, this will help in your next session. That is why I am giving this session before that permission coming in place. Okay, chmod command to change the permission. Okay, give all the permission, read, write and execute. Again, this is what we're going to learn in our next session, and I've given some good idea into ls-lrt command before also. If you can go there and check. So test user, let's see what happens if I'm just using chmod. I know that it's not going to work because I don't have a permission, because I'm a technocoder, so I'm not owner of this particular directory. I'm not a part of that group of the directory, right? Operation not permitted, changing from. But I do have sudo. So again, I will utilize the sudo command, sudo chmod 777 test user 1. See, permission gone. So now I have read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute for owners, for groups, for others. So anyone can write the file here, delete the file, do any operation in there. Now let's try to go into this directory now. See, I am in the directory. Okay. Now let's try to create one file, test file.dat. So insert mode. This is a test file. If you want to understand what is a insert mode, what is a command mode, you can go to my previous session. There I have explained in very well manner. But still, if you have doubt, you can write comment here. I will try to clarify those doubt. Okay. So WQ for save and quit. Okay, my file got created. Now if you see this file carefully, right, even though I am in the folder test user 1, but the file owner and group still with my ID only, right? The reason is because still I am going into the directory which is created by some different the directories for other user, but I have the permission to go into that directory and write some file. Still the file will be written with my ownership only. It will not change. Just be to clarify. Okay, the ownership will remain same. It is not like that it's a different user, test user 1 file will be created with test user. No. Okay. So now second thing, once you understood that I created one file, now let's learn about how to create a groups. But before going to groups, I just want to explain you one more thing. Suppose you created a user ID for the external user, you can create password also for that user, so that without password they are not able to log in. How you can do that? You can use password command for that user. Okay, again same thing, sudo user, because I need to use sudo command to override those some permission, right? Sudo okay, new password is asking. Okay, just give the password what you want to give. Password updated successfully. It means whenever this person test user one is try to log in, it will ask for password, and I have given some password to that particular user. Okay, so I hope this is clear now, how to create user, how to set up a password, and how to assign some particular user ID while creating the user, right? Okay, now let's go to the group, how to create a group. So clear command is just to clear and go to line number 1. Okay. Now again I am going to home directory. So cd tilde operator shortcut cd tilde. So now pwd version working directory home technocode. I am in my home directory. Okay. Now let's list the file. Okay. So you can see here I have so many files here. Let's try to create one group. Okay. So to create a group, you need to use command as groupadd, groupadd. The difference is, to create a user, you need to use useradd. For creating a group, you need to use groupadd. Okay. Now let's try to create one group. Then I will explain what is the benefit of the group actually. Okay. So sudo groupadd. Okay. New group I am creating. Let's say that I am giving that group as test group 1. Okay. So sudo groupadd test group 1. Okay. So my group got created. See, group here in this directory you will not able to check. It will be in the root folder. It will be stored there, but no need to worry about that. Now see carefully how I will change the group ownership of the file. So it means this particular file, let's say that test file 1 dat, currently technocoder is the owner of this file, right? But the group, which is the row number 1 2 3 4, the group permission is given to technocoders. So by default technocoders will be having ownership as well as group permissions. Okay. So but I want to change it. It means I created, let's say, 7 users, and I want to assign all the 7 users into one particular group, right? For that only I created this test group 1. Okay. And how it helps is, that way you can control the permission of the file. Okay, I will explain you, don't worry about that. So first we created a group, right? So sudo groupadd. Okay, now let's say that this test file 1, I want to change group of this particular file to my test group 1. Okay, how I can do that? For that you can use a command called as chgrp. Okay, change group. Again sudo. See, if you are a Unix administrative, right, you don't need to use sudo every time, okay, because by default they will be having a super user and they can do any operation they want. But sudo is a command which can override so many permissions, so it's always helping. But sudo is actually not part of command. Sudo I am just giving to get the special permission, so don't worry about this. Sudo is just a, you can say, prefix. Okay, the actual command is chgrp, change group. So what I want to change? Okay, I want to change group of this particular file, which is currently technocoders. So sudo change group. Okay, give the group you want to change. So I just created one new group, test group 1. Okay, of this file, test file 1.dat. Okay, so ch group, what you want to change, okay, for which file. So currently test file 1 having group as technocoders, I want to change the group of this file. Let's see what happens. See this. Before test file 1 was having group as technocoders, now test file 1 having group as text group 1. Now you will be asking, right, what is the benefit of this test group 1? Think like that you have 100 user in Unix. Okay, it will be very difficult, to give each and every user have some permission, right? So what we can do is we can assign all those 100 user into one particular group, say security group kind of using, and let's say that test group 1, and by default I want to give all the right permission to test group 1. The first digit is for owner. Okay, so it means 7 means all permission, read, write and execute together 7. So I am giving 7. Okay, and then second go to the group. Actually this is the trick here. Second go to the group. Now I am not giving, let's say, 7 to the group. My test group 1, I just want to give only read permission. Okay, only read permission 4. For read only you need to give 4. Okay, and for others I don't want to give any permission. They should not do anything at all. 0. Okay, now chmod 740 to test file 1.dat. Okay, so let's see what happens. See here, test file 1, test group 1 only have read permission. Okay, so it means if I have a multiple user who is part of this particular group, they will be having only read permission on this file. Okay, now you can create multiple groups and you can assign any user to any particular group also. So currently I have just shown you how to assign or change group of particular file, right? Okay, now here I have many users, right? Let's try to create one more user, but this time what I will do, when I am creating a user, by default I will assign that user to that particular group. So for that I will use sudo useradd -z, okay, test user, let's say 4. Sorry, first you need to give useradd, first -g means you need to give the group which you want to assign. So I just created a new group, right? Test group 1. Okay, I want to assign this group to the new user I am creating. So new user I am creating in home directory, so -m. Okay, and the new user I am saying test user 4. Test user 4. Okay, let's enter. Let's see what happened. See here, my new user got created, but if you see carefully here, my owner is test user 4, which is my user ID, but my group become test group 1. So it means when I'm creating user, there also I can assign. Okay, and so this is more about how to create groups, how to assign some user ID to that particular group, and then we understand how to change the group of particular file. Same way I will explain you now how to change ownership of the file also. So again go to my home directory. See here, I just show you chgrp command, right? So this command actually change the group of this particular file. Now I want to change the ownership of this file also. Currently this file is owned by technocoders. I want to change ownership also. Again sudo command first, sudo chown change ownership. Okay, and I want to give owner to this particular file, ownership to this particular user. Okay, so test user 1, and which file I want to change the ownership? Test file 1.dat. See, currently technocoders is the owner of this file, but I am changing ownership of this file and giving to test user 1. Let's see what happens. See here, my test file 1 ownership is changed now. So now test user 1 is the owner of this file. So what this signifies, it means the permission, whatever the permission are setting up here in the first line, RWS, RWX, now it will work based upon these new user and new groups actually. Okay. So that's why whenever we say, read, write, execute, give it to owner, groups and others. So this is what it meant actually. So owner is this test user 1, group is test group 1, and others means all the other users, like example techno coders or the other user which I have created, right, which is not part of, which are not part of ownership or which are not part of particular group, they will be called as others. So in this session, we have learned how to create users, how to create groups, how to assign or how to change the ownership of the file, how to change the group of the file. And then I explained you about sudo command also, right? So just think about it. Sudo is just a command, to give you a super permission to override any particular permissions, okay? So by default, in etc folder, right, if you go to etc and search for sudo, so here you can find one file sudoers, right? So if I try to open this file sudo view, okay, so here actually it will be added. Suppose whoever the new user you want to give sudo permission, right? So that user can be added into this file, okay? And this file currently you can see that root have all the permission, right, by default. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thanks again for watching. Bye.